So when you think Kagawa Prefecture, your mind probably jumps straight to Sanuki Udon, right? The famous noodle kingdom.
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe those incredible modern art islands like Naoshima or Shodoshima in the Seto Inland Sea.
Exactly. And those labels are definitely true, but they kind of, well, they hide a much deeper, more persistent story for Takamatsu City itself. The capital, the old gate of Shikoku.
That's so true. People often just see Takamatsu as a transit point, the place you go through to get to the islands.
Right.
But if you scratch beneath that surface, you find this identity really forged by its biggest challenge,
Mm.
water, or rather, the lack of it.
Lack of water in coastal Japan.
Yeah, it sounds odd, but the region is mountainous,
Yeah.
surprisingly so,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have any major river systems, so historically, getting enough water was a huge struggle.
Okay, let's unpack this then. This deep dive, we're looking at 5, maybe less known cultural spots in Takamatsu.
And the thread tying them all together is that struggle, right? This constant historical need for water.
Exactly. It led to intense worship of water gods, dragon gods, actually huge respect for the people who built water systems, and just this incredible culture of resilience. And maybe ingenuity, too.
That anxiety about survival, that's really where the story kicks off. And the spiritual heart of it has to be Tamura Shrine.
Tamura Shrine. Okay.
It's the Ichinomiya for the old Sanuki province. That means the highest-ranked shrine, dates way back to 709 AD. It's the ancient core of the region's faith.
And I read it connects directly to one of Japan's most famous folk tales, Momotaro.
Yes, the shrine honors 5 deities, and one of them, Isasari Hiko no Mikoko, is believed by many historians to be the original hero figure behind the Momotaro legend, the peach boy who fights the ogre Urata.
Wait, hold on. So this local shrine is essentially claiming the original Momotaro story before it became a national fairy tale.
Yeah,
That's a pretty big deal. Puts Takamatsu right at the center of things, mythologically speaking.
it absolutely does. But the really striking part, the bit that screams water anxiety, is this hidden spot behind the main sanctuary. It's called the Sadamazu no Ai, the fixed water well.
Fixed water well.
Or, more ominously, the bottomless deep abyss.
Okay, that name definitely gets your attention. What's the story? Why is an abyss the heart of their faith?
Well, the legend says the big boss of water, the dragon god Tamura Sadamazu Damyujin, lives down there. And here's the kicker. Local tradition strictly warned that if you looked into the well, you'd die.
Wow. So the most vital thing for life water is made terrifying and off limits.
Exactly. Think about the psychology.
Right.
By making the community's life source sacred, powerful, and fundamentally unapproachable, the shrine cemented its spiritual authority, its political power, too, in a land always worried about drought.
That's extreme reverence born from pure fear, almost. Honoring something so precious you can't even peek at it.
It really reflects that historical anxiety. But what's fascinating is how it's evolved.
Right, because now they have that huge golden dragon statue. It's like 6 meters long. The feeling seems different now.
It's totally shifted from pure survival anxiety to, well, praying for prosperity. The modern belief, basically, is give Koban old gold coins to the dragon god and you'll get rich.
So the fearsome water god is now also the god of wealth.
It's a classic cultural adaptation, isn't it? It shows Takamatsu's journey, maybe, from just struggling to get by to achieving a level of modern economic comfort. Still respecting the dragon, but asking for different things.
That's a great insight. Okay, so Tamura Shrine gives us the spiritual root, the water anxiety, and the Momotaro hero prototype. Where does the ogre Momotaro fought fit in?
For that, you need to take a ferry. Just 20 minutes across the Seto Inland Sea to Megijima Island. It's famously known as Onigashima.
Ogre Island. Makes sense.
Yep, because near the top of Mount Washigami, there's this huge cave system. Onigashima da Dukutsu, the Ogre Island Great Cave. Tradition says that's where the ogres Momotaro fought actually lived.
So you can actually visit the ogre's lair. That offers visitors a kind of mythological archaeology trail, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
You've got the hero's origin point inland at the shrine, and then the villain's base out here on the island. The story feels grounded in the landscape.
That's cool. Is the island still, ogreish?
Not so much anymore. It's embraced modern life. It hosts contemporary art installations, part of the Satuchi Triennale sometimes. And in spring, it's covered in cherry blossoms, like 3,000 trees. It's
Wow.
quite a contrast. Ancient fear, modern beauty.
That sounds lovely. Anything else to look out for?
Yeah, check out the villages when you arrive.
Yeah.
The houses are built kind of climbing up the slopes in this distinct scale-like pattern. It wasn't just for looks, it was practical, helping protect against strong sea winds, maybe even pirates way back when. It's a visible sign of adapting to the environment.
And the view. I hear there's a good view.
Oh, definitely. Climb up to the observation deck near the summit. It's about 188 meters. You get that amazing panorama of the Seto Inland Sea, the Tashima no Bai, the multi-island beauty. Really makes you feel the connection between these places across the water.
Okay, back across the sea then.
Yeah.
Our next point is Yashima. That distinctive flat-top mountain, right?
It's the one. Yashima Plateau, historically famous for a major battle, the Battle of Dan no Ura during the Genpei War. Big stuff.
But it's also a key spiritual site.
Absolutely. Yashima-ji Temple is number 84 on the Shikoku 88 pilgrimage circuit. Very important link to the legendary monk Kukai, or Tupul Daishi.
And here's where it gets really interesting, especially if you're into old buildings. There's a hidden architectural story, isn't there? About the main hall, the Hondu.
Oh yeah, this is fantastic. For centuries, everyone assumed the main hall was Momoyama style, built around 1618. That was the accepted date. But then, during repairs in 1957, they were working on it in Satri. Surprise. They found original structural timbers preserved inside the newer construction. And these timbers dated back to the Kamakura era. We're talking 12th, 14th century.
No way. So it's centuries older than they thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It completely changed the timeline. They ended up restoring it based on that discovery back to the elegant Kamakura style with black lacquer and cinnabar red details. It just shows how much history can be literally hidden in plain sight, even in famous places. The Genpei War story often overshadows this incredible find.
That's amazing. And Yashimaji offers a different kind of interaction with local spirits compared to the scary dragon god, right?
Yeah.
Something gentler.
Much gentler. The local guardian deity here isn't a fearsome dragon. It's Minoyama Daimujin, a famous tanuki, a raccoon dog spirit.
A tanuki, how does that work?
The legend is lovely. It says when Kukai, the great monk, first came to Yashima, he got lost in a thick fog on the mountain. Totally disoriented.
Yeah.
And then this tanuki supposedly transformed itself into an old man wearing a straw raincoat, a mino, and guided Kukai safely up to the summit where he could found the temple.
So the local nature spirit helped the Buddhist saint instead of being an obstacle.
Precisely. It's a perfect example of what's called Shinbutsu Shugu, that historical blending of native Shinto beliefs and imported Buddhism in Japan. The tanuki isn't some mischievous or evil force to be overcome. It's a helpful guide, assisting the revered monk. It's such a nice narrative contrast to the sheer power and fear associated with the dragon god at Tamura Shrine.
Fear of nature versus guidance from nature. I like that.
And visitors can see the legacy of this story today. If you find the path to the smaller Yashima-Inari Shrine nearby, it winds through this beautiful bamboo grove.
Yeah.
And it's lined with tons and tons of tanuki statues. Little ones, big ones. People leave them as offerings, presumably thankful for guidance, just like Kukai received. It's incredibly charming and very specific to this place. A real hidden gem related to the story.
Okay. Shifting from the mountain spirits back towards the coast, let's talk engineering and human resilience again. Takamatsu Castle, also known as Tamamo Castle.
That's right. Built in 1590 by Ikoma Chikamasa. This was the nerve center, the administrative and military hub, controlling all that vital shipping traffic through the Seto Inland Sea. Hugely important strategically.
And its big claim to fame, its hidden value, is being a water castle.
Yes, it's one of only 3 designated water castles, Mizushiro, in Japan. But what makes Takamatsu Castle unique among even those is its moat system. It uses the incredibly rare Shioiri-shiki method.
Shioiri-shiki. Tied-in style. What does that mean in practice?
It means the castle's moats are directly connected to the Seto Inland Sea. They designed it with sluice gates that would actually allow the seawater to flow in and out with the tides.
Whoa, why do that?
Well, a couple of brilliant reasons. First, it kept the moat water from getting stagnant, constantly flushed by the sea. Clever. Yeah. But strategically, it meant that boats, even warships potentially, could sail directly into the castle complex from the sea on the high tide and then out again when the tide turned. The castle literally breathed with the ocean.
That's incredible engineering, part defense, part dynamic landscape.
And it feels alive. The moats still function this way. They're filled with salt water, and you can actually see sea fish swimming in them. Sea bream tai are commonly raised there now. It's living proof of this unique design.
Amazing. Like an aquarium moat?
Kind of. Now, sadly, the main castle keep, the Tenshu, isn't there anymore. It was dismantled in 1869 after the feudal era ended. Only the massive stone base remains.
Ah, that's a shame.
It is. But standing on that empty platform, It forces you to use your imagination.
Yeah.
You look out over the water, picture the ships, feel the sea breeze, and you really get a sense of the castle's power and its connection to the sea. It reinforces that gate of Shikoku idea.
A space for historical reflection, then. Okay, finally, let's move inland again, away from the coast, to find something that really captures the human spirit of Takamatsu, the Hyōge Matsuri.
Yes. This festival, usually held in September in the Asano district, which is inland, higher ground is designated as an intangible folk cultural property. It's special.
And it brings us right back to the water crisis, doesn't it?
Full circle. This entire festival exists to commemorate and thank a local hero named Yanohei Roku. He was an engineer, basically.
An engineer hero.
Absolutely. He successfully designed and built the Shinike, the new pond, a vital reservoir that finally solved devastating water shortages that constantly plagued this upland farming area. He literally saved the community. So they thank him every year.
Okay, that makes sense. But the way they thank him is unusual. The name, Hyōge Matsuri.
Right. Hyoju is a local word meaning something like comical, joking, or humorous.
So a comical festival to thank someone for solving a water crisis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
During the main event, the Shinku Giretsu, or sacred procession, the participants plaster their faces with really strange, funny makeup. They wear these oversized, outlandish, comical costumes, and they parade like this for about 2 kilometers.
That seems counterintuitive, honoring serious hardship and a benefactor with silliness.
But if you think about it, connecting it back to everything else, maybe it's the ultimate expression of Takamatsu's resilience. They faced hardship, someone helped them overcome it, and their response isn't solemn prayers or silent gratitude. It's laughter. Joyful, communal, maybe slightly absurd laughter.
Huh. So it's like celebrating the relief, the survival with humor?
I think so. It shows this incredible cultural toughness, maybe a kind of practical optimism. It's not commercialized. It's just the community coming together, remembering the struggle, thanking their hero, and choosing to do it with joy and absurdity rather than, stiff formality.
Yeah.
It feels very real, very human.
That sounds like the definition of a hidden gem. Especially being seasonal, you get this raw, unfiltered look into the community's spirit, celebrating the engineer who brought water with a big laugh. I love it.
Pretty unique.
So, pulling it all together then, what does this mean for you listening? Takamatsu, it seems, is fundamentally a city shaped by its relationship with water. That challenge created everything from deep religious beliefs centered on terrifying hidden dragons to ingenious engineering like tide-controlled castle moats, and even finding humor and thanking heroes who brought relief. The history is deep, layered, and really rewarding to uncover.
So for you, the learner, these places we've talked about,
Sure.
Tamura Shrine, Megijima, Yashima-ji Takamatsu Castle, and catching the Hyōge Matsuri, if you can, they offer a kind of blueprint, don't they? A Takamatsu legend pilgrimage
Yeah.
that goes way beyond just Udon and art islands.
Definitely. And it's quite doable. You can maybe pair the sites focused on water history and control Tamura Shrine and Takamatsu Castle on one day. They're more central.
Yeah. Then maybe dedicate a second day to the more mythological and spiritual side. Head out to Megijima for the Ogre Cave, then visit Yashima-ji for the Tanuki Guide and the amazing views. You'd use the local train, the Kotoden, and the ferries. It connects the dots.
It links these seemingly separate stories into one narrative about resilience and adaptation.
Right. The history of Takamatsu really shows that resilience isn't always about, just fighting battles. Sometimes it's about clever engineering. Sometimes it's finding a friendly spirit like a tanuki to guide you through the fog.
And sometimes it's just having the sheer grit and good humor to laugh together in gratitude after surviving a crisis, like with the Hyōge Matsuri.
Exactly. So maybe a final thought for you to consider. What's the biggest, most persistent geographical challenge that shaped your own community's character? And how does your culture remember or celebrate its survival?